Hello, I'm Nari McDiarmid for Mining Journal, and today I'm speaking with Duncan Chessell, the Chief Executive of South Australia-focused Copper Search. Now, Duncan, the name gives a pretty good indication, but for anyone new to Copper Search, which listed less than 2 years ago, can you explain what the company's focused on and why?
Yeah, a great question. What is Copper Search focused on? It's focused on copper exploration, but more specifically IOCG, or iron ore copper gold mineral systems in the very northeast corner of the Gawler Craton in South Australia. So South Australia being endowed with some of the world-class deposits such as Olympic Dam, Prominent Hill, and the Carrapateena. These are examples of IOCGs. We're looking in the top northeast corner in the Peak and Denison domain, which previously wasn't necessarily identified as being prospective for IOCGs, but more recently has been identified as that through some drilling from our neighbours, sponsored or funded by Oz Minerals. So we're in a really exciting little new emerging copper district in the top of South Australia and focused on copper.
Well, you mentioned Olympic Dam, which is the big IOCG deposit that, of course, most people are aware of. And you mentioned drilling by neighbours. So what gives you confidence in the prospectivity of your Peak project?
Yeah, a couple of things. One, I guess the theory that the top of the Peak and Denison used to be attached to the Cloncurry district of the eastern succession of the Mount Isa area, which has got a lot of IOCG mineralisation. And that then rotated and broke away. So we've got like an escaped piece of Queensland in South Australia locked onto the top of the Gawler Craton. And the rocks are the same sort of similar age of intrusions. And that was about 50 million years younger than the big brothers to our south with Carrapateena, Prominent Hill and Olympic Dam. So it was sort of a little bit overlooked, but Oz Minerals funded some exploration along a major structure along the Karari Shear Zone late last year, and they delineated 2 out of 2 drill holes, hit basement and hit IOCG copper mineralisation with big alteration system and disseminated copper sulfide. So that gave us, prospectivity is incredibly enhanced from those drilling results. At the time, AIC, or it was Demetallica, was then taken over by AIC, and then obviously Oz Minerals with this BHP takeover. That sort of project has stalled, but I know that the geologists involved want to get back out there and drill some more holes to define potentially the next Prominent Hill right along structure and right on our boundary. So really exciting time to be owning 5,500 square kilometres of the Peak and Denison in an emerging copper district.
And I understand, Duncan, you've recently received some heritage clearances, so you've got some exploration on the cards. What do you have planned at Peak?
Yeah, well, what we've got planned in the immediate future is to get out on the ground and drill the first 4 of our 6 high priority drill targets. We went through a process last year. We did a big lithostructural analysis of the entire district using recently acquired government, the Gawler Craton Airborne Survey MAG data. We've done the first sort of modern lithostructural analysis, identify those major shears, those main structures where IOCGs can pop up and you get that big IOCG deposit. We had 40 anomalies, geophysical anomalies we chased down last year, infield gravity, did more geophysical modelling, got it down to we've got 6 primary targets, and we're going to go and drill the first 4 at the end of March. And as you said, we've got heritage surveys over all 6. All ready to go. We're just waiting on drill permits, which should be in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be out in the paddock, potentially drilling out, something like the next sort of Carrapateena. Each 4 of these is a large-scale opportunity for our investors.
Well, Duncan, obviously a good time to be drilling with the copper price rising. It seems a good time to be looking for copper. Where do you see demand headed?
Well, I think demand is going to outstrip supply. This carbon net zero goals that we've set ourselves as a society or as a globe, it looks like we need to put on about 30% more production. Has to suddenly be just the taps just need to get turned on, and there just aren't the mines there to do so. We need to produce an extra 10 million tonnes of copper per annum. We're currently producing about 20. So to meet those carbon net zero goals, it's just, I don't think that we're actually going to be able to do it. But in the physical sense, we've got to put 47 Olympic dams into production within 10 years. There just isn't enough projects in the pipeline. So, while copper will, obviously get its little, bumps and lumps on the way through, I think copper is looking really strong for, the short, medium and long term.
Well, Duncan, thank you very much for the update today.
Thanks, Nari.